Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to look at these arrows from Fivics. They're called the Ninja. They're completely made. So they come with a nock system. Now the nock they fit is a small groove nock, and I've just fitted the bone-in F nock to it to create a large groove. They come fitted with the 1.6 Elite Plastic Fletch vanes. Now sometimes, well, I assume they're Elite Plastic Fletch. They look like Elite Plastic Fletch, and they feel like Elite Plastic Fletch. They may be a Chinese vane. I don't know. But they definitely look like it. Now this is a 166 size arrow. So this is, when it comes to carbon arrows, they make a 245, 204 and 166. That's your three big sizes. Your 166 is your equivalent of your Victory VAPs, your carbon Eastern carbon ones, your gold tip, Pierce. It's basically a thin arrow for target shooting. Now this is a complete carbon arrow. They sell for about $10, $100 a dozen made. Now why do you want a thin arrow versus a thick arrow? Well, one, it's about the same price. But these arrows have all different spines. So they go right down to an 1800 spine. You're going to say, well, what does that mean? It means that this arrow is a 400 spined arrow. So this suits a compound bow up to about 60 pounds. And the 1800 will suit like a recurve down to about 10 pounds. So basically it's got that huge range of variants. So basically so your recurve archer, your compound archer. Now not really suited for your hunting archer, so because it doesn't come with inserts. Now your normal carbon arrow, your 245, doesn't come down in the light spines. So you know, for the light poundage compounds, light poundage recurves, well this arrow does, and it's nice and affordable. The thinner arrow is going to give you less wind drift in the air, so basically more accurate. Now what's also good about the thin arrow is they're really durable because the thickness of the wall is quite thick. Now I just weighed this arrow. This is a 28-inch arrow, and I weighed it 319 grains with the knock-in. Now I'm going to fit to it. These are the toe point 166 points. These are about $15 a dozen. They come in weights of 100 grain, 120, 150 and 200 grains. I'm fitting the 100s to it. You can see it's a break off point. These cost around, no, I think I already said $15 a dozen, so they're really cheap. Now you're going to see this is a 400. You're going to see it doesn't fit perfectly up against it, but I don't really care for this video. I just want to see how these arrows shoot. Now when I spin it, they spin pretty good. Now on the Fivics website, they have no technical specs as far as how much, ducks just landed in my pool, how much they physically weigh or the straightness of these arrows. So that's why I want to shoot them and sort of test them out. So let me glue these points in and let's go and shoot them. Okay, so with arrows, the thicker spines, so the stiffer spines, are actually thicker on the outside than the thinner ones. So the internal thickness, the internal wall or the internal thickness of the shaft is the same for all the 166s. It's just as the shaft becomes stiffer, they put more carbon on the outside. So basically, you'll see here that the shaft is actually thicker than the point. Fivics have thicker points, but then when you go down to the thinner shafts, the point was too big for the shaft. So actually I like these points from Toe Point because they curve in, and I figured this will be fine to shoot. Now with my VAP 166 arrows, I shoot 140 grains at the front. With these ones, with the Fivics, I fitted 100 grains to the front because it's 400 spine versus 350. The VAP's been 350. So theoretically the VAP would be a significantly heavier arrow, and I haven't chronographed them. This is me shooting them for the first time. So this is me shooting the VAPs. Now I'm going to guess they're going to hit high on the target. That's because I was shooting back inside the shed last night, which is another 2 meters back. So this is 18 meters. That one will be low because I shot that one low. All I want to do is I want to compare the VAPs as far as how high they hit, whether they hit left or right compared to the Fivics. I'm interested in the groups of the Fivics, and I'm also interested whether they're slower or faster or how they hit on the target. Now with my VAPs, I fit a pin system in the back end with a biter knock. The pin system protects the back end from when you Robin Hood the arrow. With the Fivics, I've just fitted the basic F knock to the back end. So if I was to Robin Hood the arrow, it will go straight down the back end. But I did this just because I want to keep costs down, because when people come in my shop, at least 9 out of 10 are on a budget. And they generally have a budget of about $10 an arrow. And so what I'm interested in these shafts is keeping the price down. So just fitting a normal F knock to the back end of it. So let's see where these group. I can't see where they landed. And part of the thing when you fletch your own arrows, or if I was to fletch arrows for a customer, it takes about an hour. So I'm going to add $30 onto the price of the arrows at least, because staff wages here are about $30 an hour. So when it comes to buying arrows from China, if they're pre-made, they're going to be cheaper basically than making them here. Now sometimes the fletchers will be a little bit bent, and all you do is put those in hot water and that will straighten them up, or a hairdryer and that will straighten them up. Because when they ship them basically in a big bunch of, let's say, 100 arrows or 200 arrows, so the vanes will get bent. Now I should say Fivics produce a whole bunch of arrows. When I say a whole bunch, I mean heaps of arrows they make. In fact, one of their arrows, their top of the line arrow, I'm pretty sure is called the 5X or the X? I'm pretty sure it's like the X10, something like that. They have the 10X. Anyway, they have a whole bunch of arrows. One of their arrows, their top grade arrow, is not cheap. It's a thin arrow. It's up against the Eastern X10. And there was a junior archer who shot a world record with that arrow, I think last week. And I think it was 705 or 6 with a recurve out of 720. Very impressive. But you generally don't hear much about the Fivics arrows. And like I said, they have a whole bunch in their range, and I haven't tried them. This is me trying their cheapest straight off the thing, because I do sell quite a few of these arrows. Purely on price, and because of the spine, the spines go down. So yeah, so a lot of the arrows will stop at a very stiff spine, not suitable for recurve, not suitable for kids, and a lot of my sales are kids and beginners and lightweight recurve bows. So these arrows really came into their own for that market. So with that, let's go and see where those arrows have landed and see how they grouped. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. You can see all my arrows are, I can clearly get my fingers around that group of arrows. Now, to me, this is a very interesting group. I don't know if my camera picked it up, because I haven't got a tripod for the camera, and when I got down here, the camera wasn't pointing at this target, so it wasn't at some point in time, but obviously it changed. Now with the VAP arrows, they sell, the arrows I'm shooting here are a mix between the Elites, which are the yellows, and the Sports, the red, and I shoot them completely, I don't look when I shoot them, I just basically shoot all types. The Sports are rated at .005, The Elites are 0.001 in straightness. I have not found a difference in shooting quality or scores between the sports or the Elite. Now, just on the points, we weighed the toe point points on a grain scale to see their consistency, because they're so cheap, and they were spot on, like to the point, whatever it is, they were absolutely spot on. Okay, so the Ninja Arrows are fractionally higher than the VAPs in the target. Marginal, not much in it. You would say three of the Ninjas are grouped high to the slightly right. They're all touching, and the other Ninja Arrow is in the X, right alongside the VAPs next to the X. I would say, as far as grouping, I would say the VAPs group slightly better than the Ninjas, but there's nothing in it. Like I said, these three arrows at the top here are actually touching. The other arrow is that far away from touching the group. The VAPs, I've got three touching in the X pretty much, and then one off to the side there, which is that much distance. So very, very good grouping. So let's put this into perspective. The VAPs cost $140 a dozen. That's for the shafts. You're looking at the points, about $30 a dozen, 170. The pins, $20 a dozen, 190. The nocks, I'm shooting at Biter nocks, 210. That's just for the components, and then the making, around 240, 250 a dozen made. The Ninjas are $100 a dozen made. I am more than happy with those Ninjas. Now, would I shoot the Ninjas for competition? The answer is no, I wouldn't. But as a beginner, I absolutely would, because I'd be price sensitive. That grouping is awesome. It means I can compete. The reason I wouldn't shoot them for competition is because they are Fivics budget arrow. They have no specs as far as weight, consistency, straightness. I don't know if 1 hour of 12 will be inconsistent. I don't know this. I would shoot the top of the line Fivics, having not shot them before, because they do have all those specifications on their arrows. They look good, and they're relatively new, but they look good. They look like they're a well-made arrow, and just based on this group here of the Ninjas, that's awesome. Now, what you're probably going to say is, well, you know, how does that go at 90 meters and, as you know, in the longer distances? I don't know. This is the first time I've shot them, but it generally, I find, if I can group close, if I can group at 18 meters, I can generally group at 90 meters. Your groups at 18, if they open up, they just open up more at 90. But once again, beginners are not going to be going back shooting 90 meters. If you're going back shooting 90 meters, well then, yeah, probably you want to look at arrows. But these are going to be great arrows to get you started, whether you're shooting light poundage recurve, high poundage compounds, or whatever, for target shooting, because they come with target points, they come with nocks, they come fletched, they're little veins they come with. That pulls out real easy. I'm just going to zoom up, because like I said, the point on this one, the shaft was actually bigger than the point, but this bulge point just there was actually thicker than the arrow, and I was like, well, I reckon they'll be fine. Now, they have points. I just didn't think their points were as good as the toe point. They weren't adjustable. I glued these in with hot melt just before doing this video, because it allows me to tune the arrow if I need to. I shoot 60 pounds at 28.5 inches. These arrows I thought I cut them at 28, but they were still clearly out the front, so they might have been cut at 29. But more than happy with these points, more than happy with these things. I think they're great value. So for me, they come in all the spines, as I said at the start, 400 down to 1800. They can be hard to source. So last time, I've ordered them maybe 3 times now from Fivics. and they will often be out of specific spined arrows. They might only have 400s, 600s, and 800s, and 1500s. So all those other ones in between I miss, because that's all they have available at the time, and then I'll make another bunch, and then it fills me up again. But they have been very popular. I haven't had a bad word. No one said a bad word on them. The graphics look nice. Anyway, that's it there. Now the points, I find the points that come with the Ninjas for the light spines, you know, like the 1000 spines, the 900 spines are too thick, and hence I'd be going for the toe point points, or the VAP points, which are suited for the thin arrows. But these are awesome. Happy. You're shooting a thin arrow here, which is spined, which shoots well at a great price. Perfectly great. So, but if you're hunting and want screw and points, just go for a 246 normal carbon, and you'll find that it does really well. I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.